In this podcast episode, Peter Crone, a mindset coach and mind architect, dives deep into the human psyche, exploring the subconscious operating systems that govern behavior. He unpacks the nature of mental fitness, the role of fear and ambition, the impact of childhood conditioning, the importance of vulnerability in relationships, and the search for meaning and freedom. Throughout the conversation, Peter also addresses spirituality, mental health, personal growth, and how to navigate life's uncertainties with peace and authenticity. Peter explains that much of human behavior is driven by subconscious programming, which he refers to as the operating system. This system is rooted in limitation, characterized by feelings of inadequacy, such as, "I'm not enough," "I'm not worthy," or "I'm not loved." These beliefs trigger coping mechanisms like perfectionism and people-pleasing, which may lead to external success, but often trap individuals in chronic stress and suffering. The default mode of the brain is predict and protect, usually anticipating worst-case scenarios, which fuels anxiety and fear rather than mental fitness. According to Peter, true mental fitness is essentially the absence of suffering. It means living from a place of ease and freedom, accepting life as it unfolds without resistance. This state resembles concepts from Eastern philosophy such as awakening or enlightenment, where a person is genuinely at peace with everything, beyond being upset or disturbed by life's challenges. Reaching this state of mental fitness requires transcending the limiting narratives and fears programmed into the subconscious early in life. Peter discusses how early experiences, even subtle ones like feeling less smart or slower than siblings, shape the stories we tell ourselves about worth and ability. These narratives become the basis for lifelong patterns of behavior and emotional responses. While Peter acknowledges the role of genetics and epigenetics, he places more emphasis on inbuilt constraints combined with life triggers that activate these limiting beliefs. He likens life to a cosmic game of hide and seek, where the challenge is to transcend inherited fears and limitations. The conversation addresses when it's appropriate to seek help for mental or emotional struggles versus trying to manage independently. Peter highlights that some people, especially those with a strong sense of independence or a lone wolf mentality, tend to suppress emotions and work through difficulties alone. This can perpetuate suffering and isolation. Vulnerability remains a barrier for many, particularly men, due to societal expectations about masculinity. Yet, seeking connection and community is vital for healing and growth, provided one is in the presence of people who can hold emotional space without judgment. Peter shares his own story of losing both parents at a young age and how this shaped his emotional world and relationships. This experience fueled fears of loss and the need to be the perfect boyfriend to avoid heartbreak. Such fears, rooted in early trauma, often manifest in adult behavior and can fracture genuine connection. Healing comes through embracing one's story, recognizing it as part of personal evolution or karma, and accepting the nature and timing of loss from a spiritual perspective. Drawing from Ayurveda and other Eastern philosophies, Peter discusses the idea that souls incarnate and exit existence according to divine timing and purpose. He refers to the notion that no amount of force can kill a person if it's not their appointed time, and conversely, no medicine can extend life beyond that moment. This viewpoint helps many find peace amid grief, seeing death as part of a greater cosmic order rather than a meaningless tragedy. The discussion explores how openness and sharing fears or worries with a partner can be a sign of strength, not weakness. However, the capacity of the partner to hold that space emotionally is crucial. The difference between vulnerability and accusatory blaming is highlighted. Relationships thrive on honest communication without victimizing the other person. Peter stresses that true relationship means genuinely relating beyond just being in a formal partnership. Peter firmly advocates for honesty as the foundation of any authentic relationship. Even uncomfortable truths foster trust, while lies erode connection and respect. Lies, regardless of their intention, communicate that the other person can't handle the truth and undermine their empowerment. Without truthfulness, a genuine relationship cannot exist at an energetic level, regardless of legal or social status. Peter discusses the paradox of success achieved through compensatory behavior driven by insecurity or feelings of inadequacy. Many successful individuals chase achievements fueled by fear of not being enough, rather than authentic passion. He differentiates ego-driven ambition from genuine curiosity and creativity, noting that ego often manifests in striving to prove or disprove internal narratives. While ego is unavoidable, it must not define a person's life or identity. Fear is identified as the primary motivator behind most ambition: fear of failure, judgment, or not measuring up. Ambition driven by fear tends to operate with a forceful, tense energy that can produce results, but at high personal and relational costs. Conversely, ambition rooted in love, freedom, and creative power flows from a relaxed, expansive energy, fostering sustainable growth without sacrifice to well-being. Appearance often becomes a significant part of identity, especially for those deeply involved in fitness or success-driven lifestyles. Peter acknowledges that physical changes can boost confidence, but cautions that self-worth based solely on external looks remains fragile. Body dysmorphia and eating disorders exemplify the disconnect between perception and reality, illustrating how deep-seated mental patterns can distort self-image regardless of actual appearance. Peter distinguishes spirituality, which emphasizes unity and interconnectedness, from religion, which he sees as creating separation and division. He respects religion's value for many, but views it as a framework that can foster ego and suffering through the illusion of separation. Spirituality, in his view, invites awakening to the unity beneath differences and is more aligned with healing and mental freedom. Peter shares a personal breakthrough, accepting uncertainty as the fundamental nature of life, as a source of profound freedom and peace. Letting go of the need to control outcomes or have all answers can dissolve fear and suffering. He encourages leaning into discomfort rather than fleeing it, seeing challenges as opportunities to expand freedom and growth. Psychedelics are acknowledged as powerful tools for some people to break through deep mental blocks and catalyze awakening. However, Peter cautions that without proper integration and self-reflection, these experiences may not lead to lasting transformation. Psychedelics can serve as a spiritual 2x4, providing an ego death necessary for some to confront hidden blind spots. For Peter, life's meaning is fluid and shaped by individual perspective. Once a person attains freedom from limiting beliefs, they enter a state of pure choice and possibility. The purpose then expands to helping others find the same liberation. This viewpoint frames existence as a creative unfolding rather than a fixed path dictated by external forces. Peter highlights the vast spectrum of human conditions, from extreme suffering and trauma to immense privilege and success. Recognizing that everyone carries their own burdens fosters compassion and kindness. There is no hierarchy of hardship. Each person faces their unique evolutionary challenges, deserving of empathy. Ultimately, the quest for freedom, emotional, spiritual, financial, and physical, is central. Peter's work focuses on helping people break free from subconscious prisons of fear and limitation, encouraging them to live authentically and powerfully from a place of peace and self-love.